Hello everybody, this is Jilly Geek, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the iPhone 4S on iOS 8. Okay, so in this video I will be showing you how iOS 8 performs on the iPhone 4S, and also I'll be highlighting some of the new features that are included with this update for the 4S. So let's get started by doing a cold boot, see how long this takes. Now I have heard and seen on other videos across the web that the 4S on iOS 8 takes a little bit longer than the 4S on iOS 7 or iOS 6, but you're probably not going to notice that unless you're comparing it side by side to another 4S. Then we get the black screen for a few seconds, and the screen will come on. So right here when it first comes on, it is a little bit laggy, not super responsive, but if you give it just a few more seconds after booting, it does work okay. It seems like it just has to find the carrier first before it is responsive enough for you to actually use it. So at this point it's still a little laggy, but let's go ahead and unlock it, because it requires your passcode. A little bit laggy on that animation there. Let me just start from the lock screen again so I can show you the notification and control center. So let's start off with control center here. Very laggy there, as you can see. When you bring it up for the first time, it's really laggy. And just in general on the lock screen, it's pretty laggy. It's not a very smooth experience. Doing this, not that bad, but bringing it up is just a little bit laggy. Not too bad. Notification center, kind of the same thing. A little bit laggy, just not the smoothest. Bring up the camera, a little bit laggy. Camera's a little bit pretty slow to load, as you can see there. On the lock screen, I would say performance is not very good. Definitely, I would say there is a decrease in performance on the lock screen from iOS 7, but then again, control center did lag on iOS 7. So, maybe the camera animation is a little more laggy, notification center is a little more laggy than it was in iOS 7, but I would say overall it's not that bad. It's just on the lock screen usually. It seems to be pretty smooth elsewhere across the OS, as I'll show you here. So let's unlock the device. As you can see, the animation a little bit laggy, not too bad, not really noticeable. It's still pretty smooth. And let's swipe through the home screen so you can see here. Still pretty smooth, not really any lag there. And still swipe through quickly. Still responsive, still looks good. Getting the spotlight looks pretty good there. Control center on the lock screen, or the home screen, sorry. Pretty smooth. Definitely better than on the lock screen. Notification center, very smooth. And we still get that cool transparent blur effect, which I really like. So yeah, everything's pretty smooth. Let's try opening some apps here. You can see the settings app. Just open a few different apps so you can see. As you can see, opening various apps is still pretty smooth. The animations are still nice. There's really no lag. There may be an occasional lag, but nothing too bad. And then the multitasking screen here, as you can see, still smooth to scroll through. Still easy to close apps here. Very smooth. And this animation, as you can see there, is still quite smooth. So overall, it lags quite a bit in the lock screen, but then once you get into the home screen, the only thing that really lags significantly is control center, and that's only when you bring it up. So it seems to be overall there's not that big of a smoothness decrease. But as far as general performance for opening apps, it does take a little longer. I have noticed, and I've seen across the web also, that it does take a little longer based on tests. But again, it's probably not something you're really going to notice unless you're comparing it side by side with the 4S running iOS 7. So let's again try here, going in, scrolling, still smooth. You can still scroll through long pages easily. No big performance increase or decrease there. Still looks great. So let's go ahead and test out the keyboard here in Notes. The keyboard does have some new improvements, which I'll talk about in a minute. Let's just try the keyboard here. So we can go through quickly, easily. Still very smooth. It does get a little laggy on big web pages. You know, like heavy desktop web pages does get a little laggy, but overall, like in messages or notes, it's very smooth. So that's good to hear. And let's try launching the camera from the home screen, see how smooth it is. A little bit of load time there. Kind of an annoying thing. I'd say that is probably the one app that I am kind of annoyed that it does take a little longer, because that's the one app that you probably want to launch really quickly so you don't miss anything. But then again, you know, it's not too bad. I'd say it's worth it to get your extra features here, which I'll show you in a minute. So overall, you can see there it's a little bit laggy. Going to the home screen. So overall, I would say that the performance is pretty good. There's just a little bit of a decrease. But then again, you do get a lot of features, so I would say, you know, it's pretty smooth. There's a little bit laggy in the lock screen, as you saw there. But overall, the animations, you know, opening and exiting apps are, you know, smooth. There's a little bit longer of a delay when opening apps and when turning the device on from a cold boot. But again, I think it's worth it to get these new features. So let's take a look at some of the cool new features that are included in iOS 8. So the first big one is the new QuickType keyboard. It is a predictive text keyboard that gives you suggestions here at the top, right above the keyboard. So as you can see, this is pretty similar to you know, something that you could find on Android. Android has had this feature a while, but it's nice to see it come to iOS 8. So as you can see here, before we even start typing, we already have these suggestions here, so we can practically type out a whole sentence without even having to actually press any of the keys. So we can go see here, the new update is the best. And as you can see there, we typed the whole sentence just with the suggestions. So that's pretty cool. Also, when we're typing here, it can help complete our words. So I don't have to type in the rest of this word. I can just tap it. And before I even start typing the next word, it already has suggestions. Say, go with the word hockey. So I can go here. And then is the only one I want to go see. And there you go. So you can practically type out a whole sentence with just using this these suggestions here. You can type the keyboard very little, so that's very, very nice. It's also helpful for when you get messages, when you use this interactive notifications feature, which I will show you here, because iOS 8 has interactive notifications. So let me just say hi to myself, and as you can see, it will come through here the home screen, and I get the message here, and I can swipe down and reply from whatever app I'm in. This works for calendar, or for mail, or for a ton of different apps, and you get these options here. You can just swipe down. You can either, you know, like throw an email in the trash, or accept a calendar invitation, or do something quickly and easily without having to leave whatever you're doing. So this is a super helpful feature. In here, as you can see, it already knows that I said hi to myself, so I can just automatically say like hello back. And this would be super helpful when the Apple Watch comes out, because you can just tap these responses right from your wrist. So I'm actually going to tap here to go into Messages app so we can say something else. So I'll just say sup. Go into the Settings app so I can illustrate how you would use this if you're in another app. You can see here I'm in Settings, but I can still respond. And you can see it automatically detected that I said sup. So then it has these responses, not much, nothing, or hey. So I'm just going to say not much. And there we go. We can also use this feature for when someone asks a question. So I'll say, do you want to go to the game or the park? And hopefully it will detect that question and have these options. So as you can see here, give them into load, and there it goes. It automatically has these suggestions in here. So if someone asks you a question, you have these answers right here based on the options that the person gave you. You can also say not sure, so I'll just say not sure. And there we go. And it's super helpful. You don't have to leave the app at the end. You don't have to type out a whole response. You already have that in there. Another cool new feature that we have is voice memos. So if you hold on this microphone thing here, I can send a quick voice message to someone. And it's almost like having a phone call, but not really, because you're sending a message, and then you can actually like hold it up to your ear as if you're talking on the phone to someone, and you can send a reply. So it's kind of just a cool new way to communicate in iMessage. Send here, and then it comes through. You can listen to them.
I just send a quick voice message to someone, and it's almost like having a phone call, but not really, because you're sending a message, and then you can actually like pull it up to your ear as if you're talking to someone.
So that's a pretty cool new feature. You can also take a quick picture, so you can hold up the camera icon and take a picture like that if you want to capture a quick picture, not miss anything, and send it to someone. That's really cool. You can also do it with videos. Take a quick video there. I'm not going to send that. But yeah, those are some new features in messages. We have some new features in camera here. We now have a timer. So at the top here we can tap how long we want the timer to go for. And when we take a photo, the camera flashes, and we have a countdown in the bottom right corner. And then the photo is taken. So that's really a nice feature. We also have a time-lapse mode, which we can use to record time-lapse videos. So obviously it's not going to do anything here. But I do have a time-lapse video that I can show you here. This is a view from my bedroom window when there was a storm outside. So as you can see here, it looks pretty cool. It comes out really good. I was very impressed with this. I didn't think it was going to be a feature that I use much, but I actually have used it quite a few times already because it really has turned out to be a nice feature. So, great new mode in the camera. We also have some new features in photos, so we can have more advanced editing controls. So when you go into edit here, of course we have filters like before, but we can also go in here and adjust light. So make this a little brighter. And then we can save it. Let's see what else we can adjust. We can adjust the color here. A little more color, bring that out. It looks a little bit saturated, but looks okay. And then we also have a black and white, so we can make it black and white, kind of adjust that, make it more look like a filter, so that kind of thing. We can also favorite photos, so I'm saving, I'll show you that. So you can go in here and favorite a photo, and you have a favorites album that you can view here. You also have a recently added and a recently deleted folder. Here you can also search for photos based on the location they were taken. So I can even search for photos nearby. So if I'm in somewhere, say like a store or something, and I know I took a picture of something around the area, but I wasn't sure where exactly it was, I could just search for nearby pictures. I can also search for pictures of a specific place. So I see Tennessee, Tippecanoe, Indiana, Gardens Mall, Tradition, and something like that. I can search based on places, which is a really cool way to find the exact photo that you're looking for. So that's the new features in photos. Weather has been updated to support Weather Channel rather than Yahoo Weather, so we have a lot more robust weather details. We have a full 24-hour weather forecast here by the hour. We have a today summary, sunrise, sunset, chance of rain, humidity, all that good stuff. I still have those cool animations, so we can still scroll through here and check on different locations and stuff like that. So very nice updates to weather. And of course in here, notification center, we have the today view, and we can also add third-party widgets here. So I actually don't have any installed right now, but if you do install an app that supports widgets, you can add one. For example, with I could add like ESPN Sports Center or something like that. You can add them in here and rearrange them, delete them as you want. You can customize your entire today view to suit the your needs and to support the apps that you use frequently. So we also have a notifications view. We don't have a missed view anymore. We just have the notifications view. We can clear them easily here. So some updates to notification center there, and we also have a little icon that shows what the weather looks like. You don't kind of just a picture of what the weather is on the Today View, which we did not have before. Control Center, if you didn't already notice, does have an updated look. So we have these round buttons that turn completely white. They don't like get outlined in white. They're completely white, and it seems to be a little brighter, so you can see it a little bit easier. So that looks good. Settings, there's a few changes here. We have all the app permissions in here, so we can just go into an app and view actually they don't have any. Some of them have them, some of them don't. You can go through and just adjust the settings easily. We can view battery life by app in here, so you can go to usage and battery usage. You can see, as we did before, the usage at the standby time. But we can also see, once it loads here, the battery usage per app, so we can see what app is hogging our battery life. As you can see here, so the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, you can see which apps have been hogging my battery life. There. So that's a nice feature in the settings. We also have some new apps. We have the Tips app, which gives us quick tips on how to use iOS 8, how to do some quick things. So this, I think, is great for non-tech savvy people. We just want to know how to do some quick things with their iOS device. Cool app there. We have podcasts now built in, which I'll probably never use this, but for some reason Apple wanted to bundle it in. I'm not sure why. iBooks is built in, which is really nice, because then I think a lot of people now who might not have known about iBooks before but had an iOS device, now they can go in and they have iBooks automatically in there. So, people who may not have known about it before now will, because it will be pre-installed on their iOS device. So I think I always thought this made sense. I always wanted to write it anyway. I think it should have been made an app with iOS 6, so I'm glad they finally bundled in with iOS 8. So, same look as before, just it is now built in, you don't have to install it, so that's nice. Music, I believe, is pretty much the same. There might be a little bit of difference, but not too much. It takes a little bit to load there, but yeah, not too much of a difference. In the playlists tab, we don't have the up mark anymore, but not too big of a change there. In the multitasking screen, we have recently talked to people, so we can see our favorites and also our recents, and we can tap on them to contact them easily, so we can call them, message them, or FaceTime them. So that's a cool new feature to get to people that you talk to frequently. We have some mail improvements in here. We have some quick controls, so we can mark something as unread, like that, or we can quickly delete an email by a swipe all the way across, or we can get access to flag things easily, like that. So, a quick, just kind of quick gestures. Some nice improvement there. We also have a new look when we're penning an email. So we're writing an email like this. We can swipe it down and then look for another message in our inbox if we're trying to remember what to say or something like that. So that's pretty helpful. So some nice little mail improvements. Siri has been improved. There is a new voice activation feature that lets you activate Siri using just your voice anytime your device is charging. So I can say, "Hey Siri, what's the weather look like today?" As you can see, you can activate Siri.
Okay, the temperature today will range between 64 and 86 degrees.
Without having to press any buttons. You can do this when you're across the room, and even recognize other people's voice. So, like, I can do it, for example, and other members of my family, or just pretty much any random person can activate it as long as it's charging. It's not specific to your voice, so it's quick and easy to just say, "Hey Siri, what time is the Lightning game?"
The Lightning Panthers preseason game starts at 7 p.m.
And as you can see there, you can get quick access to information as long as your device is charging. And as you might have noticed there, Siri seems to be a little bit better at recognizing your voice, and it recognizes the words in real time, so you can see it interpreting what you said, and it seems to just be generally a little bit better at recognizing what you said. So I hope you have enjoyed this review or overview of iPhone 4S on iOS 8. I hope it has allowed you to decide whether you want to get iOS 8 on your iPhone 4S or not. Overall, I would highly recommend getting iOS 8 on the iPhone 4S. I know there's a little bit of a performance drop, but it's not that noticeable, and I would say it's highly worth it to be able to get these new features. There's a lot of really helpful, just overall really nice features, and it's a really great update. And I think since it's available to the 4S, there's not that big a performance drop. I would say that it's definitely worth it to get this update. So that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and enjoy the rest of your day. God bless.